Zoo-wee mama, I'm here to give you a 5-minute guide on Alioth, who is coming to spotlights alongside Madam Web and Silk. Silk, not very good or hyped, but I know a lot of people are hyped for Madam Web, and if you happen to pick up Alioth on the way to getting her, you're in for a treat because he is a very, very strong card, a great card to own. So I'm going to go over some nice decks, tips, and synergies for him. Alioth is a 6-cost 10-powered card with the very powerful on-reveal ability to remove the text from all unrevealed enemy cards here. So you're looking to play him on turn 6 with priority to remove all of the abilities of the cards your opponent plays in that very same location. And note, he hasn't been in spotlights for almost an entire year, so it's a great time to pick him up. It's also just a great variant if you do already own him and you manage to pick up this variant. Now, to talk about some of his key synergies, Alioth loves having priority. We're going to talk about this more at the end, but you want cards that can add good power to the board, and if so, multiple lanes. Okay, that's the best case scenario, so you're winning already. On turn 6, you play Alioth with priority, so a card like Claw is very good to that. He's adding 4 power to his own lane, 8 power to the lane to his right. You're going to have a really good chance of having priority on turn 6. He works well in junk packages. If you clog one of your opponent's locations, or even 2 of them, and you know where they're going to play their cards on the last turn, you have a very nice chance of just turning off their entire combo with Alioth. Shang-Chi can also work well because Alioth likes having priority. Shang-Chi doesn't like having priority. So you have them both, and if you end up having priority, you play the Alioth. If your opponent has priority, you play the Shang-Chi. Okay, it's nice to have both options. Some core archetypes that we're going to look at deck ideas is Galactus or Junk decks, and then Arishem or Rampless. So let's go ahead and start with the junk packages. This top one here is a Galactus deck. So if you do pull off Galactus, that makes Alioth really easy because you know where your opponent's going to play because there's only one location left, okay? He's so good with Galactus. For Galactus to trigger, you had to have had priority where he's having, his 5 power. So unless your opponent happened to just flip over their card afterwards with more than 5 power after Galactus already triggered, you probably have priority on the following turn, in which case you play like Galactus into Alioth if you can. This bottomless here, similar package in some sense. We've got the Goblin, we've got Magic, but this is just a full clog package. And here, instead of Shang-Chi, we actually have Cannonball. So if you have priority on the final turn, let's say you've clogged 1 or 2 of your opponent's lanes, you play Alioth. If your opponent has priority, but you know where they're going to play, you go ahead and play that Cannonball. Now, in terms of some more ramp-based lists, Alioth sees a ton of play in Arishem. Now, I know Arishem, he's kind of just a great enabler of stuff, right? It's just a strong engine. But Alioth works really well because you're playing ahead of curve of your opponent, so you're often putting more power on the board each turn, even though it has less synergy. But this more power helps you have priority. It helps Alioth get great value. This bottom list has no Arishem, but we are ramping up with Pixie, changing costs around, and we also have Wiccan in here, okay? Decks with Electro Wave, Alioth can really benefit ramping up, slapping down power, and shutting down your opponent's plays. Some key tips is always check priority, which is whoever name is glowing, when you're playing Alioth. I have a nice little demonstration here for you. If your name is glowing, you have priority. That means your cards will reveal first on that turn. If your name's not glowing, it means your opponent's name is glowing. They have priority, and Alioth isn't going to have great value for you because his ability is not going to work. It's just going to be a 6/10. So you want to check who has priority. You want to fight really hard for priority on turn 5 to make sure you have it on turn 6. Alioth is great against combo decks. He should be your plan A. If your opponent is just playing big stuff and not a combo, Alioth may not turn stuff off, right? He's not turning off Mockingbird or anything. So in that case, you would maybe want to go with the plan B card. But if you're against a combo deck, slap down the Alioth on turn 6, and I think he's just a great card to own. Second Dinner released him, super overpowered, nerfed him a couple times, he stopped seeing play, and then they buffed Alioth again. They want Alioth in the game, they want Alioth to be relevant to make sure combo decks do not get out of control, so I think he's just an amazing card to own, amazing card to have in your collection, and if you pick him up this week for the very first time, I'm pretty happy for you, and I hope you get some great use out of him. So, until then, stay positive. I'll see you next time.